Guys, we are live. Coming from, here's Dean here in Bakersfield, California. Paul up there from Jacksonville, Florida, fresh off his Iowa trip and his little scavenger that he picked up, his little souvenir. And we've got Jason sitting there in Omaha, right across the river from Iowa. I want to start out with a little bit with our product and remind you that Terry Christensen is our sponsor. She runs the Sensi. She runs a Sensi website and sells Sensi, and you can see her. We'll keep up the link off and on all through the show. And I was just in her website a little bit ago. She's ready to. She's got holiday stuff going on now. Looked like a lot of fresh holiday stuff. A couple of things that caught my eye was the warmers. You can get like a mini mug, a camper, or Santa Claus, or snowman. I'm sorry, snowman warmer. And I mean, those look actually. I was kind of tempted, because we actually dress our house up in snowman theme for Christmas. Then if you feel like having feeling like Christmas scent, you can get a soap for your bathtub, or get some holiday hand soap. You can even get, if you have a diffuser, you can go olive oil. And looks like Paul's putting up.
This is the Sparkling Snowman Warmer, available now through Terry's Sensi page.
There you go. Okay.
Get them while they're hot.
You can even have your bathroom smell like Christmas and holiday, because you can get some cleaner that smells like Christmas. And there's plenty of wax for both fall and holiday smells for your house to keep your house smelling like autumn. I don't know which some of those autumn ones they didn't specify, but if she had one that I would buy it in a heartbeat if it smelled like burning leaves.
Yeah. And hey, by the way, guys, next Tuesday, coming November 1st, there's going to be a $20 set of scents of the waxes that you can get. It's four different waxes: the Blue Christmas, Clove and Cinnamon, Cozy Fireside, and Saint Nickerdoodle. This is 4 different wax packs for $20. It's a great deal. Usually these things are like $6 each. So to get 4 for 20 is a deal. And who doesn't like their house to smell like the holidays? And you can make your house smell like the holidays even after the holidays are over. So definitely check out Terry's Sensi page. There are pre-orders available for the holiday scent pack, or scents of the season pack.
Okay. Hey guys, Sunday night we couldn't get together and do our little show, so I kind of went on and talked a little bit about the fallout from the Ohio State loss. Didn't talk too much about the loss itself, but things like Brian Ferentz getting fired and changes that needed to be made, and it went pretty good. We got 180 some odd views out of it, and I did, and I just thought that you guys could actually, if you wanted to talk about your thoughts on the game, the fallout, some of the rumors that come out of that, if you guys wanted to say your piece, and we can finally put a bow on the Ohio State game and focus on Northwestern. Jason, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I'm not going to talk about Brian getting fired because it's not on Brian. So even though I don't think he'll be there, but I think he could be the offensive line coach now. So I'm not saying that Brian won't be a part of Iowa like I was saying before. But that game was just, it was just a tough defense. Spencer was not even in the game, right? Padilla came in a bad situation. He hasn't taken a snap from Logan Lee other than on the sidelines, right? So that was his first snap taken from is it Lee or Jones? Logan?
I think it's Lee.
It is Lee, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Had a brain fart.
There's a lot of Logans on that team.
Yeah, Logan Clint too.
Yeah.
But I just don't. The game it wasn't a normal game. I would have turned it over 6 times, which they haven't done in God knows how long. So it was It was at the shoe. So it was our first time in front of 100,000 people. It just wasn't. I mean, the offense just didn't do anything. I mean, really. Like, they went up against tougher defenses than Ohio State's defense, and they looked a lot better than they did that day.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, they looked better against Illinois, and Illinois is a better defense than they are. So,
Right.
I mean, Illinois shut down Wisconsin. They shut down Minnesota. They shut down Iowa, but Iowa actually did better.
Right.
In those games offensively. Iowa just missed field goals, and they couldn't put it inside the 5-yard line. Then they went backwards, right? So
Right.
No, I don't. That is just it's an anomaly. Now from here on out, it's going to get better for Iowa's offense because of the defenses they're going to be playing, and it's not just Petrus's team now, right? We're going to see when Petrus struggles, we're going to see Padilla. And then after the Purdue game, it's possible that we see LaBosse if Iowa loses to Purdue. So I'm excited for that. I'm not saying Iowa's going to lose to Purdue. I don't think so. I still don't think so. But if that does happen, there might be a LaBosse sighting.
Paul?
That's it.
Well, first, I just want to say LaBosse. It sounds like a top shelf liquor. And, that's what you need if you're going to watch this offense is some top shelf liquor. And so at this point, we've hit rock bottom, right? I mean, offensively, we've hit rock bottom. I think we should officially move on from Spencer. Just because, we don't think he's. What are we playing for at this point? The West is unreachable.
Well, I disagree there, Paul.
Mathematically,
the West is still attainable.
If Iowa loses one more, it's over.
Yeah.
We could also get a blizzard down here in Florida. I mean, it's not impossible. The odds are against it.
Yeah. But we have to play for is an 8-4 record and a halfway decent bowl, so that if we go 6-6, we're not sent to Detroit to play a bowl game or Yankee Stadium.
Right. Well, I will say this. I mean, we've got some trophy games coming up, right? And it would be nice to not have an empty trophy case, which we're staring down the barrel of that gun right now. As far as the Ohio State game goes, I mean, look, everybody's, already given their opinions on it. There's not a lot you can add to this. Defense played outstanding, especially early in that game. Couldn't ask for a better defensive effort, considering how many fires they put out. I think California, you guys ought to hire the Iowa defense because nobody puts out fires better than the Iowa defense does. So I just hats off to those guys who keep playing hard. Who, I mean, I was sitting in a bar with a bunch of Iowa fans, and we get the score. We get the score. We actually have the lead, and nobody. It was just like, well, this will be fun for the next 10 seconds, but there was zero faith that Iowa would, even with that momentum, that we could hang around. And I mean, but they really did. I mean, that could have been a 1-score game very easily going into halftime. And that's with however many turnovers we had before half. There was no excuse for Spencer taking every snap of the season up until they decided to throw Padilla in there. That was a mistake. That was an absolute mistake. And it would have been nice for Kirk to have come out and said that after the game. Look, tough situation for Padilla, and we put him in that situation. We had opportunities maybe earlier in the season. We decided to roll with Spencer. That's on me. That's on us that we didn't get him some snaps, before, the start of the third quarter of the Ohio State game.
Okay.
That didn't happen, but it should have.
Okay. All right. I guess
All I can say is 3 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in his last 13 games.
Yeah.
For
Tells you everything you need to know. Yeah.
My stats are better than that, and I haven't taken a snap.
Yeah. Well, guys, I mean, it's rough because, as you guys know, even through the early part of the season, I was still on Spencer's bandwagon, blaming everything else but him. But the proof is in the pudding when you watch him play, and I finally come to the other side that Spencer's part. He's not all the problem, but he's a good share of the problem. And
I just hope when Brian's gone, because I still don't think he'll be OC next year, that we keep the recruits. Mm-hmm. I really hope we keep Marco. I hope we keep Razar, because they're ones that actually came out and said, they're committing to Brian, because they literally, like Razar told Sean Bach, he literally, after watching tapes of Nate Stanley, committed because of that, seeing what this offense can do when a quarterback hits the receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Iowa's had wide open receivers all year.
Right.
What's getting me more excited about these next games is the fact that Iowa's going to be able to run the ball, because the defense are not as stout, and we're not stuck with just Petras throwing to, God's country, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try Padilla, and if it goes south there, they're going to go to La Bosse, and I can't wait.
Right. They did talk a little bit about this week about running the 2-minute offense a little more. The hurry up, giddy up tempo, because they did say that Petras does shine in the tempo. They admitted to that. We all know that. We've all seen that ourselves.
I told you guys that during the bye week. I think I said that on our.
Yeah.
Maybe they did watch our show, because remember I was pretending like Brian was going to make adjustments, and Petras does better out of the shotgun when he does not turn his back to the line of scrimmage, right?
Right.
When he gets to see everything first, when he gets to the line of scrimmage with 20 seconds to go, he's much better quarterback.
Right.
So, and the 2-minute drill, he's better because he's not thinking. But I got to see it to believe it. They should have been doing that a while ago. That's funny. Now it makes me wonder if they didn't watch our show.
Well, the other thing is Northwestern is going to bring the defense as much as they can. They're not as good as they've been in the past, but this team will get up for Iowa. They'll stack the box, and again, will force Petras and Padilla to beat them by the air, which every team has done so far this year.
I mean, some teams don't even stack the box. That's just the myth. A lot of teams only have 6 guys in the box, and they still stop the run.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there was a lot of times that, especially like Ohio State, they didn't stack the box a whole lot. They played their normal defense against Iowa. What they did was they blitzed more. Mm-hmm. There was more defensive backs blitzing, but there were so many times that, we should have been able to open a hole, right? I don't think there's anything Northwestern can do.
Maybe you can speak to this a little bit, but there's actually a danger in the team stacking the box against Iowa more than not, because, we're more likely to actually break a big run if they stack the box and then get out of their run fit, or we actually, happen to block it up somehow. Then, whereas if they're not stacking the box, it's actually they're making Iowa work harder.
Yeah.
Is there any validity to that?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. And that's why you'll see that a lot of teams, they don't stack the box, but they do have their safeties closer to the line of scrimmage, right? Mm-hmm. But they're out here. It's not like they're coming down. And what their first move is to take a step forward, right? That's the difference. They're not really stacking the box as much as the first moves for the linebackers, for everybody, is to come forward. Because if it's a run, they're going to get in there, and they're not worried about the pass. Right. But when they stay back and not stack the box, exactly what you said. That way they don't give up the big run if something does happen. If there's a missed tackle, right? their first move on the defense is to stop Iowa's run. They are not worried about the pass at all, but they're not stacking the box because if he breaks one tackle, the running back breaks one tackle, they're gone, right?
Right.
Because there's nobody behind. It's just the first move of the defense is to come forward. They're giving Iowa 3 or 4 yards of play just by the way they're playing defense, but Iowa still can't block it.
So there's really no reason to put those extra guys in the box because all you're doing that's just an unnecessary risk from the other team standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Because that's why you see a lot of 4th and 1 long runs because everybody's up on a line of scrimmage, and if the running back gets free, it's over, right? There's nobody to get him. There's a lot of, like Michigan's Blake Corum against Maryland. Remember, it was 4th and 1, and he ended up going like 45, 50 yards or whatever for a touchdown on 4th and 1. And it's because of that. But if you actually watch, they don't stack the box against Iowa. Now, Northwestern, they may, but I still think they're going to have 7. They're not going to put 8 men in the box. I still think they'll have 7. They'll have their linebackers, and then they play a 4-3 like Iowa.
I've seen them give up some big pass plays this year. So I think for Iowa to run the ball more effectively, we're going to have to throw the ball down the field. And if there's one thing Spencer Petras does halfway decent, it's actually throw the long ball, which is the one thing we don't seem to do when Spencer's – I don't understand.
It's him. He will not throw it. He will not throw it deep. Other than the Nevada game, Spencer hasn't thrown deep. He has had Bruce open deep a lot, and he won't throw it. He's had Bruce. It's like Bruce slept with his girlfriend or whatever. Like I don't get it because he won't throw it to Bruce. Bruce has been wide open all year. Like nobody has been able to cover him. Against Ohio State, Bruce was wide open twice, and he didn't throw it to him. And one of them could have went for 50 yards. Like literally nobody covered him.
Right. That was when he was coming across, and we decided to go to Laporta instead.
When he was
turned into a pick.
Yeah, he was triple covered. I mean, there's just so many. I'm not sure there was a pick on that one that I'm thinking of, but there's just so many things with Petras. It's like he plays best friends. He's always throwing it to Laporta. I don't understand it. I mean, I can't figure it out. He doesn't throw it to the open man like ever, unless the open man is the play call, right? If the primary receiver is open, he'll throw it. But other than that, I mean, he'll just throw it to Laporta for the hell of it. That's what it seems to me.
Well, yeah.
Lachey is wide open. Lachey is wide open a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, I mean, they're covering Laporta knowing that's where Spencer's going with the ball. It's like Laporta. What?
We got a question. We got a message.
I was on a rant, so I mean, when I get going, there's just so many things about Petras that I don't understand. So,
well, I had mentioned that Sunday night too. That it just seems like Bruce is always open, and it's like it felt like he's got something against Bruce.
Yeah, it does.
Something's not clicking there when you can't.
And against Regini, there's in the Kentucky Bowl. In the bowl game against Kentucky, Regini was wide open a lot, and he wouldn't throw the Regini. There's one particular play in that game where Regini was right in front of him, right? And then they ran a slant with Laporta. And Laporta was double covered. Regini was right here in the same vision, right? Regini's right here. Laporta's right here. He throws it to double cover Laporta, and Regini's and Regini had the first down. He looks at him like, what the? Seriously, why would you? So, I mean, there's so many of those plays that he goes to Laporta that don't even make sense.
I'm going to defend Spencer here. I think he actually was throwing for Nico. It was just, because he was right there in his vision. That was just the most accurate he could throw the football.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many of those plays that just don't make sense.
Okay. Well, getting back to this question here. Morning, everybody. Hi, Casey. Who do you think starts, Padilla or Spencer? And he's got his prediction: Hawks 28-14.
Love it. Nice,
I like the
nice work,
prediction.
Casey.
How I think it's going to be Spencer, but I think Padilla will play the second half. Like I think they're going to. Well, I know for a fact they're going to use both quarterbacks. That's what I know. But who starts? Like, does one play the first quarter? Does one play the second quarter? I don't know how they're going to do it. I know both quarterbacks are going to play. So I think they'll start Spencer because that's what they do, right?
I have it on good authority that this is going to come down to a coin flip. And it's going to be head Spencer, tail Spencer. And
I mean, they've both been taking first team snaps. And maybe they'll let Padilla start and they'll bring in Spencer to be the closer. Maybe that's how they'll look at it. I don't know.
Somebody likes our humor, but she's biased.
Yeah, I see that last name.
nah, you're not fooling us, Ramona.
No, I just think.
Okay. All right. Now you just got corrected. He wants you to know it's Padilla, not Padilla.
Padilla.
Hey, Hawkeyes 2017, get used to it. We've been through this, right? How many times have you guys told me it's Padilla?
Yeah, lots.
I may be Hispanic, but I can't, to me, it's Padilla. I don't know. I'm Italian. I'm Hispanic. I'm a mutt. So I just talk how I see it. I'll try to remember.
Yeah. It's he's either telling you it's Padilla or he's predicting that Padilla will play. He's
predicting Padilla will start Patsy, but you're just trying to use that person to get at me to say Padilla.
I was really hoping that once Alex came in the game, if he could have thrown a touchdown and the bar I was at would have all went dilly. Like, I was waiting for that. It never got to happen.
It never got to happen. No, not even close. I mean, He was 5 for 10 passing. He says, or that person says they predicted. He was 5 for 10 passing, but it was only for 36 yards, right?
Yeah.
Petrus was 6 of 14 passing for 45 yards.
Do we get to count his pass completions to Ohio State? Because then he became like 9 for 14.
Right.
And it was like his most accurate day ever. So
well, it's like I said Sunday night when I was watching some of those interceptions, I'm going, he made a great pass right to the defender. The defender didn't even have to work. Yeah, the defender didn't even have to work for it.
Yeah, the first play of the game, he should have just threw it out of bounds. Because it was a sprint left, I didn't understand the play call for first.
Nobody did.
The first play call of the game, sprint left for 5 yards or whatever. I mean, that's too much. There's too much risk for reward in that play call. There was no reason for it. The very first play. It wasn't going for a first down, regardless. It wasn't going to break open. It was going to gain at the most 5 yards. And he throws it right to the guy when he should have just threw it out of bounds. But
first of all, that was the best thing we could come up with 2 weeks to somewhere along the way in a 2-week time span to prepare for Ohio State. We came up with sprint left throw to Ohio State. That was the play. But that play might have worked better if we had actually instituted like a play action fake with it, held the ball out and had a running back kind of cross in front of him. Maybe you get the defense flowing. Now you can roll Spencer out into the flat and maybe he has a one-on-one situation out there. But it was just the straight sprint left into traffic, throw into a sea of red. It was just everything about it was bad. I mean, play call, design, execution, everything. Nothing about that went well, other than we got the snap off. That was the only thing that went well.
Yeah. Spencer should have just chucked it into the stands.
Well, good news for both quarterbacks. Northwestern is 11th in the Big Ten and gives up 408 yards on defense. So I don't know that we played anybody that's given up that many yards on defense this year.
No, we haven't. I mean, this is the worst defense, and it's probably the worst defense we'll play this year. They're 102nd against the run, which that's the only thing that matters to me.
Right.
But I want to see KJ get 150 this weekend. I really do.
It'd be prime for him to do so.
Yeah, right? I mean, this defense is terrible, so Iowa should be able to throw the ball as well. It should be able to do both. But I really want to see the running game get going.
Well, you know what I'm really worried about? I hate that because we talked about Spencer and Alex. I'm genuinely concerned about what happens if the first time the offense trots out there and it's Spencer from the fan reaction. I mean, like that's going to come through on TV. And, like honestly, fans wouldn't care if we trotted out, Carson May. They'd cheer. Okay, hey, it's something new. We're trying something new.
Right.
I mean, it'll be a chorus of boos if Spencer trots out there first. I don't like it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you're right. That's the bad part about playing at home right now for Iowa. Spencer shouldn't play at home. He should play on the road.
It didn't get any better on the road.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. There aren't a lot of teams that are going to look good against Ohio State.
I mean, there's no team that has. Like all this nonsense, if you guys have seen my post of all this narrative that all these teams are top because they played Iowa, man, that doesn't even make sense. And then you go through all the teams that everybody has played, right? Those top 3 teams. Iowa actually played better against Michigan than Penn State did.
Yep.
Against Illinois than what Minnesota did.
Yep.
So it doesn't even make sense. Unless you're saying Minnesota is just as bad as Iowa, then they helped them. Like if you're going to just keep making up the reason they're the top because they played Iowa. Well, Iowa did better than some of these teams, right?
And it takes more than one game to make your stats look fantastic. One game can move your stats just a little bit, but this far in the season,
7 games. We've played 7 games now.
Yeah, it's not like your stats change overnight just because you played one team.
Right. You play Iowa. Oh, look I moved up in the first. In 7 games, it doesn't even make sense. And I'm really not sure. Illinois destroyed Wisconsin too, but I'm not sure how many yards.
If what they're suggesting is playing Iowa will boost your team's defensive statistics, I can go along with that, right? Because we make everybody's defense look like the '85 Bears, but as far as our defense, when you go up, we held Michigan below their averages. Certainly Ohio State almost 200 yards below their average. We held them to 66 yards rushing. So this idea that, of course they're in first place now because they played, it's the teams that played Iowa. Well, outside of the beating in Columbus, it hasn't been easy for anybody.
Well, yeah. Listen to this. Like Illinois played Wisconsin too, right? Mm-hmm. And Iowa did better against Illinois than Wisconsin.
That was at Wisconsin. That was at Wisconsin too.
Is that the game? What's his name? And Chris lost his job.
Yes, yeah. He lost his job right after that. Wisconsin only had 2 yards rushing. They only had a total of 208 yards. Iowa put up 222 yards against Illinois. So Iowa did better against Illinois than Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Yeah, but Wisconsin's coming back. They're looking good now under their new interim coach, who I predict will be the head coach.
They should look better. Look at the competition that they've been playing since he came back, or since they made that change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to learn about who Purdue. You're going to learn about who Purdue really is here. I mean, Wisconsin took care of Purdue. I mean, Purdue is not that good. I mean, as many wins as they got, they could have had those losses, right? They beat Florida Atlantic by 2, 28-26. Florida Atlantic had a chance to beat them. Like, Purdue has been in a lot of close games, and they won them. I mean, to their credit, right?
Mm-hmm. But except they also Syracuse debacle where they just completely melted down.
Yeah, that's what that coaching staff is. That's the difference between having a Kirk Ferentz, and then having a hothead as your head coach.
Yeah. Does it concern either one of you that Purdue's on a bye week and we play them next week?
No. Not at all.
No, they still have those.
It doesn't concern you that Brom has an extra week to think up some gadget plays and new wrinkles to come up against Iowa?
No. Okay. I mean, they don't have.
It bothers me.
It does. They don't have receivers. Like, what's he going to come up with? Is he going to trot out 3 quarterbacks again? I mean, that didn't do much against Iowa. They only played it in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what he's always had trick plays. And if Iowa continues to play that cover 2 man, they're going to have those 2 deep safeties. So those trick plays aren't going to do much. I don't think it's going to, because they still have those same, they don't have receivers. As much as everybody wants to be about Charlie, he doesn't run great routes. He runs simple routes, and that's why when they play a good defense, he gets shut out, right? He went through 3 games where he wasn't getting hardly any. He had like 4 catches, 15 yards in one of those games, and then he plays Nebraska, and look what happened. But he played Nebraska. And with Purdue's style of play, of course Charlie's going to go off against a bad defense. That's what that's the only thing that makes Purdue's offense good is when they play bad teams, they make them look like bad teams. Like for Iowa's style, they don't. They just continue to pound on you, but they're not going to score 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference. But no, I am not worried about Purdue's offense at all this year.
I'm more concerned about Evan Hull, who I'm pretty sure is on like the Jordan Bohannon graduation path. I feel like he's been at Northwestern since like 1996. Seriously, hasn't he been there as long as Fitzpatrick's been there? This Evan Hull guy, my lord.
Is he on his COVID year?
Hey, he's on his COVID year, his Black Plague year, his Spanish Inquisition flu year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now, you bring him up. Yeah. Right now, he's got 40 catches for 436 yards. I doubt if there's anybody, including Laporta, that has that many on the Iowa squad.
36.
Who has 36?
Laporta.
Okay. Laporta has been our leading receiver the last 3 years.
That's because of who our quarterback is.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Iowa never had tight ends lead them in receptions until this.
No.
Right.
And we've had some good ones come through here.
Yeah. Nick Easley led the team in receptions when we had Hawk and
Stanley. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Nick Easley was the leader. And then so was Regini.
I miss Easley.
Regini was the leading receiver in 2019.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I forgot about that.
So, but that was the year we had Nate, who was throwing to Tracy. Like we had Tracy as a true freshman, had 30-some catches.
Right.
Regini had like 56 or 57.
We had Smith Marset.
Yep, we had Smith Marset. He had like 30 or 40. I mean, Nate Stanley almost threw for 3,000 yards. He's the first one. He threw for 29.52, which is the closest any Iowa quarterback has been since 2011 when Vandenberg threw for 3,000.
Where do we stand on our picks, Dean?
Okay. All righty. Picks. Let me get them out. I have them ready to go for you. Your picks. This week, Paul, you and I went 6-1 this week.
Bam!
Jason went 5-2. So overall, Jason's still in first place at 16-9. I follow at 15-10. But Paul, you got a winning record now, 13-12.
That's it. I'm riding coattails here, fellas. Riding coattails.
It took a 6-in-1 day to get you to 500.
Oh my
That's
god!
good. Which two did I lose?
Yeah, I will
UCLA.
get that out. I'll get that out for you. Jason lost Texas
Oh yeah, I lost money on that game too. Yeah,
and
that was all the way
UCLA.
up. Yeah,
And
I knew about UCLA. I forgot about the Texas.
Yeah, Paul lost Texas, and I lost UCLA. Okay. So you guys want to go ahead and do our picks while we're on the pick thing? I picked a couple NFL games this week because I didn't like all my choices for college. As you know, I want to kind of keep it a little bit tough. So we'll do the Northwestern at Iowa last. Okay, got Notre Dame at Syracuse.
Oh, that's Syracuse for me. Syracuse all the way.
Okay, Paul.
It's at Syracuse.
You gonna take Syracuse?
No, the game's at Syracuse.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, let's Syracuse for the win there.
I'm going with Notre Dame.
Oh, good.
Good.
Ohio State at Penn State.
Ohio State.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the thing. So they had that big emotional win over Iowa. Now they're going on the road to face a Penn State team that is coming off a nail biter over Minnesota. Boy, this one's tough, but I'm gonna take Ohio State, but it's close.
Okay. Oklahoma State at Kansas State.
Kansas State.
I'm waiting for Adrian Martinez to be Adrian Martinez. I'm going to take Oklahoma State here.
Okay. I took Kansas State.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Okay, here's one for you. Illinois at Nebraska.
Yeah, this is a tough. I'm Illinois. I'm gonna pick Illinois, but I'm gonna probably root for Nebraska because it's not until after the Purdue game where Iowa will officially be out if they lose that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any way they lose this weekend, so I'm gonna root against Illinois until Iowa's out of it. But then I want Illinois to win the West because I think Illinois is fun to watch.
I think it's going to take a miracle for Iowa to get to the West title. So I'm going to root for Illinois. Illinois to beat Nebraska. So with a loss by Nebraska this week and a win by us, we'll both be tied.
Let me. What time is kickoff for this game? Do we have a kickoff time? Is it a night game?
No, it's a day game. It's like 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock or something like that.
All right.
It's 2:30. It's a 2:30.
2:30 game. Give me the Fighting Illini for the win.
Okay. So far we're all the same. We only differ on the Notre Dame pick. Okay, this one could be a little funky. This is my first NFL game, and this one was at the top of the list, so I went for it because it had meaning for both of you. Broncos at the Jags.
This game's in London.
Yeah.
And
is it London? Is it London?
Yeah, it's in London. 8:30 in the morning Central Time. They start.
I will still be hungover when this game kicks off. The Jaguars, they don't play well anywhere but London. I think the Broncos are in trouble. Jags, Jags.
I got to go with the Broncos. I can't pick the Jags regardless. That was unfair.
And I'm picking the Jags myself. Okay, only because the Broncos have got that Hawkeye syndrome where they don't seem to score. I don't know who has the worst offense.
I think the Jaguars' offense is actually pretty good. It's our defense. It's either on or off. When the defense is good, our team's pretty good. When the defense doesn't play well, then we lose. It's just weird.
I just can't understand with the quarterback that they traded for why they can't generate more offense.
He's $200 million. He's worth $200 million.
Okay, and my final NFL game in the final game is this one I picked because it had more interest to me. Cards at Vikings. I've got the Vikings.
It's at Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with Minnesota as well because Arizona is really struggling on offense. They keep fighting and arguing. The quarterback in Arizona wants to call the plays. Like Kyler Murray is just a little baby. He's a brat.
Minnesota, is it Skull or Ski-U-Ma? Doesn't matter. Give me the Cardinals.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow, yeah. So the NFL games will make or break us in the standings. in my one only pick in the college against you guys. Oh no! Oh, Paul, I see we're not the same. You picked Oklahoma State. Okay,
that's right.
So
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I don't know. It's still hard for me to pick against Notre Dame. They're not even ranked this year, so I don't even know what their record is. But
who, Notre Dame?
Yeah,
Notre Dame is awful.
They got a new coach this year?
Yes. Their coach last year went to LSU, remember?
Right. I knew that. And they're making LSU look good, and Oklahoma is looking poor this year because their coach went to USC, and USC is having an great year. Not like I thought they would though. I thought they'd have national caliber championship season, but they're not. They proved that they don't belong in the national title game either. Okay. I'm
surprised you didn't have the Rutgers Minnesota pick.
Because I feel like it's Minnesota all the way. I just thought that was too easy. Because it's at Minnesota.
I think you might be surprised.
Unless, of course, what's his name ain't playing, but I think he is. I don't think he's actually missed a game, even though they keep talking about how hurt he is.
Rutgers has a good defense.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see.
But Minnesota's defense is like number 4, number 5.
I mean, against nobody.
So the basketball team has a exhibition coming up. What, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere?
Monday.
They do.
Halloween night.
Do. Yeah, and Aaron Eulis will not be playing in that game because he got a disorderly conduct against him on Thursday night.
Which I don't really understand what that is. Like, how do you get a disorderly conduct?
So what it probably is he probably got a little too drunk, a little loud. Police probably told him to put a lid on it, and he probably got mouthy with the police, and so, probably got arrested.
Oh, is he 21?
Huh. He must be 21 because they're not talking about underage drinking on him. I guess there's a little bit. There's a little bit. If you go read the article, I can't remember the article too much. There is a little bit about what happened. He was at a party and drinking and got a little out of hand.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they were playing Jackass and riding shopping carts off the roof of the house or something.
Right. Well, I want to come back to riding carts off the roof of the house in a minute.
That's what Paul does. When he gets all drunk, he just gets up there and into the Florida pools.
You know what? The thing is when people have a little too much to drink, they think they're invincible and start jumping off of things.
Bacardi is the magic elixir.
Yeah. No, I just gonna. I also want to point out that Murray had his first official start last night. Keegan with the Kings. I watched most of that game, and he scored 18 points in his first official start. Although that's not the most points he scored this year. He scored 19 in another game off the bench.
But so I think he's averaging about 17 and a half or 18 points a game then.
He's averaging 17 right now.
17.
Yeah, the thing that bothered me the most is he got an offensive charge because he kneed the guy in the groin as he went around him. he was going up for a dunk, not a dunk, but a lay-in. But he went around him, and so he went up in the air, and his knee hit the groin of the defender, and he put the ball in easy, and and that looked like a great play. But I didn't realize that accidentally knee in the groin cause is a foul.
Well,
because
I'm sure the defender feels that way. The defender's like, hey, whoa.
Oh, he was kind of. Oh, they got TV. Got a great camera of him holding his groin.
I bet. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wait,
Yeah.
isn't the bigger story here that means somebody in the NBA was attempting to play defense?
Right.
That is a story. Right. That is a story.
Yeah. The Kings still got beat. I don't think the Kings have yet to win a game this year, and that's sad because
They haven't. But they've had a tough start. They've had a tough schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
What have they played? 4 or 5 games? I mean, it's not
4,
like
I think it's 4. Yeah.
4. I think it's 4. Yeah.
Yeah, they're old.
Keegan didn't play in the first one.
right.
Did you see my my message about the announcers? How they say Keegan, like Keegan, and then the crowd says Murray.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Look on my page. I shared it on my Facebook page. That's where I put it. But
Well,
yeah,
they seem to the fans for being angry about that pick. They're sure embracing him now, and even the announcer, they're kind of they're nicknaming. They go, "Oh, Keegs is looking good on that little turnaround." Keegs. Even our announcers didn't say that.
yeah, I didn't know anybody was mad about the pick.
Oh yeah, at the very first, they thought that they could have done better than Keegan Murray, but I think Keegan is showing that he belongs. I mean, at least early on in the season.
I think Keegan's showing he should have been number 1.
Yeah,
he's playing better.
I don't know how the first 3 picks ahead of him are doing. I do not know.
Not like
Keegan. Following him.
Keegan's gonna be rookie of the year.
Yeah, if he keeps this up, he will be easily. So let's go back about rolling off a grocery cart off the roof. Kind of the rumor going around, and it's unfounded because I've not been able to find anybody else talking about it, about the reason why Keegan Johnson really isn't playing right now. And so
apparently some dude on a radio station, some dude named Travis on a radio station was talking about it.
Right. And I'll have to go back and listen to the podcast from the day before because he had Tyler Kluver on, and maybe that's when it came up.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he had Tyler Kluver on the day before.
Okay, then that's the one you probably should listen to, yeah.
I'm going to go listen to that one when I get a chance. But I just kind of want to hear it for myself. I want to know, because does that make sense, the reason why? Because I've been saying all season that the coaches are hiding something about Keegan because they're unusually not very, how do you say it? They're not talking about Keegan. They're not saying a lot. They're keeping it under wraps. And, of course, Kirk got mad last week when somebody asked about him. He goes, I'll let you know when he's coming back to play. Kind of got snappy about it. He's getting tired because they're avoiding it. And other injuries are going, yeah, he's working through it. He's not quite ready. But he's starting to look good. He's coming back to practice. Well, we got the clearance. He just needs another week of practice underneath to go full speed. Things like that. But when it comes to Keegan, it's like we're not even talking about it. They don't even bring it up unless a reporter does it. Then Kirk gets mad for them bringing it up. So something's going. I just feel like something is going on behind the scenes with Keegan that we're not aware of, and even Keegan has the good sense to keep his mouth quiet, and so does the football team.
Oh yeah, the bottom line is the only thing the fans need to know is he's redshirting this year. That's all we really need to know. Anything beyond that, we don't need to know how he got hurt, what he did, unless they want to share it. If they don't want to share what happened and just listen to all the rumors of what happened, but the bottom line is he is really hurt. He's not faking it to transfer. He's planning on redshirting. If anybody watched him play in the Nevada game, he's really hurt.
Right.
I mean, every time he would run a route or get knocked down and get up, you could just see his face. Like that post route he ran where if Spencer threw it right, it would have been a touchdown, but he threw it behind him. So he had to jump up with the defender. They were both going for the ball in the end zone, and then Keegan got up, and the camera was right on him, and he could barely get it back to the sidelines.
Right, I remember that play. I kept thinking, "Oh crap, he got hurt again." Or maybe he was still hurt. He just wasn't able to play through it like he thought he could. That's remains his only game he's played this year.
With the 4-game rule in effect, I wonder if it wouldn't be possible that we might not be able to, if we can get to a bowl game, maybe by then, we'd have a chance to get him in there for a few reps. I'd hope, but maybe not. Maybe maybe he's dealing with maybe
unless his injuries really, really, really that bad. I would think that if we're going to get to with the 4-game rule, we could get to the last 2 regular season games. If there's a chance he could play, I would love to see if we could get him out for some reps, get him used to running out there, because it won't hurt his status. And I don't know if the bowl game counts as 4 games or not, but if it does,
it does.
Okay.
But
no, he's only played in 1, so I mean, we could get him if we could get him out for the Nebraska game and a bowl game.
Right.
That's if he's healthy. He may be able to take a medical redshirt.
Right.
Depends on what route they go. I mean, the fact is he's not getting healthy.
Right.
Whatever he did to himself, he's not getting healthy.
Yeah. Well, here's what it's not. It's not the COVID vaccines, okay? Yeah. So it's not that. It's definitely not that. We would never want to imply that it could be the COVID vaccines, because those are safe and effective.
They just.
And by the way, he came to Iowa after the mandatory vaccine rule was in effect. So I'm sure the team is no longer under mandatory vaccine rules.
That's it.
Yeah. But just everybody go back and listen to what is it, KXNO?
Yeah.
KXNO radio, however you do it, listen to Travis talk about it. Tell everybody where they can go listen to the same thing with Tyler Kluver.
Yeah.
So people aren't in the dark.
It's on their podcast. It's called The Morning Rush, his show with Ross Peterson. And you can actually go to anywhere you want to find a podcast, wherever you want to go. You can go to the KXNO website if you want to. I get mine off of Spotify, and it's there on Spotify. Just put in the KXNO Morning Rush and look for the show. It was on yesterday was Thursday, so it was Wednesday. Wednesday's show, they had Tyler Kluver on at the 7:30 hour in the morning. So look for that, because it actually says it there. And I'm going to go punch up that one next when I get a chance, because I'm going to drive into town, a 30-minute drive into town. So that will be my listening pleasure as I drive into town this morning.
Who's Travis, though? They said Travis was the guy talking about it.
Yeah, Travis Justice. He hosts the show. Him and Ross Peterson host the show, Morning Rush. And he actually, this would impress you, he lives in Omaha and does the show in his basement out of Omaha.
No, I know who Travis Justice is. He was he was on our TV. He did like Nebraska Sports at Night on one of our TV channels here like a decade ago.
Yeah, he got fired from that gig.
Yeah, I know who Travis Justice is.
Yeah, okay, as long as you know who he is. But yeah, that's for the other people who are not sure. I've been listening to him on that morning show for years, and he's had different co-hosts. Ross Peterson was his original co-host, and now Ross Peterson is back to be his next co-host. And so, honestly, I've been listening since Miller and Dace had the show in the morning on Cakes. That was probably the best morning Hawkeye / Cyclone show you would ever have.
I don't know how much more we've got going on, but I did want to reiterate before we get out of here about Terry's Sensi page. The link's there at the bottom of the screen for anyone that's made it this far into our show. Again, visit the page. There's a lot of amazing, holiday, winter, Christmas, Hanukkah smells out there. Light the menorah, smoke your Christmas tree. No, wait, that's not right.
Oh my God, I'm just imagining that.
Anyway, don't listen to me about smoking your Christmas tree. That's a whole different thing. Anyway, look, a lot of great sense out there. You know what makes sense is Scentsy, and they do it better than anyone. Check out Terry's Scentsy page. I promise you won't find any smoked Christmas tree scent, but you will find some amazing stuff and great deals. And she's got some bundles and things going on right now. Save some money, great gifts. Holidays are coming. Get something for that special person in your life. It only makes sense.
Okay. One last thing. One last piece of business. We need to talk about this board behind Jason and his power rankings today. I want to hear him because I can't see him.
Well, open your eyes. This is my Big Ten West power rankings. Number one, obviously, I think that one's obvious, is Illinois right now.
I have the power.
Number two, I have Purdue, and that's only because of record. Like, I don't really think Purdue is going to be this high when it's all said and done, but that's where they're at right now. I got Iowa at 3, and then Wisconsin at 4. Wisconsin and Iowa are pretty equal right now with their records and everything. And then Nebraska I got at 5, and Minnesota at 6 because I think Rutgers is going to beat Minnesota.
Okay.
So, and then Northwestern obviously at the bottom. I'm not sure they're going to win another game the rest of the year, being completely honest. Northwestern's defense is just horrible, and their offense isn't very good. The only defense that Northwestern's offense looked halfway decent against was Nebraska.
If Northwestern finishes again like they did last year, is the coach on the hot seat next year, or you think he's like Kirk? He's got a lifelong contract at Northwestern, no matter what happens.
They're not going to get a better coach at Northwestern to have more passion for Northwestern football.
Mm-hmm.
If they fire him, it's just going to be another coach like that comes in and does whatever and then moves on, right?
Right.
So even if they bring somebody else in who turns it around, they have a couple winning seasons like Gary Barnett. Remember back in the day with Gary Barnett? Right. And then the moment another team comes a looking, he's gone.
Yeah.
Just like
Pat Fitzgerald would instantly become a very hot commodity if he became available. I think the only reason you don't hear his name, talked about for big openings is he wouldn't leave to take a bigger job. But if what he's done at Northwestern to make them a perennial contender at Northwestern, to think that he couldn't do something similar at a bigger program. A
program where it's easier to recruit,
right?
Where you can recruit, absolutely, where you can recruit dummies like me, right? I can never get into Northwestern. It's just the way it is.
They won't even let me drive by.
Yeah. Exactly. So you're right. A place where he can actually recruit without worrying about your academics.
Yeah, I didn't even get accepted to Iowa when I applied. That tells you how bad it was for me. I did get accepted at UNI though.
Oh yeah, they'll take the leftovers. But all right.
I don't have anything to argue with on your list there. I mean, right now you could pick names out of a hat and the list would be just as good.
Yeah, I honestly,
other than Illinois and then Purdue because of record, the rest, these 5 are
interchangeable at this point. Yeah.
Any given Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased, so Iowa's 3. They're at the top of all of the.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. If they're all interchangeable, I'm picking Iowa first.
Right.
I think you just put them in alphabetical order, which is what. Yeah, because.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah,
that would work.
No, I'm saying you did put them in alphabetical order. This is why they wouldn't let me in Northwestern.
Just we have to move whiskey down, but you know what? I'm pretty close.
Yeah. Honestly, prediction here first is the interim coach at Wisconsin will be the head coach next year. He's a hot commodity, and he was being talked about for other jobs in the past. So Wisconsin would be stupid at this point to let him go because he's actually, I think he's turned around the Wisconsin season.
I mean, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, yeah, there's still more games to be played, but we'll find out. I think they're on a bye week this week too.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So, all right. I think after Purdue, we play Wisconsin and then Minnesota and then Nebraska to finish the season. So
that's how it goes.
Wisconsin's on a bye week too.
Yep. Okay. All right. At least we get them when they come after. Who do they play when they come back next week? Wisconsin.
Us.
That's
us. Yeah. No. We played Purdue that week.
Oh.
Yeah. We just discussed that.
Yeah.
Probably Nebraska.
Wisconsin plays Maryland.
Oh.
I was hoping for a tougher game like Ohio State or something.
Yeah. Well, Maryland could easily beat Wisconsin.
Right.
Maryland's 6-2.
It just depends on which quarterback's playing. If they have that Tagovailoa, they're pretty good. Without him, they're pretty average.
Yeah, but Notre Dame hung with Maryland last game. They hung with them pretty good. Not Notre Dame, but Northwestern hung with them pretty good and actually had the lead there for a little bit.
That was because of what Paul just said. They didn't have their quarterback. So they won 24-21, something like that, 24-17. Mm-hmm. And it was a 72-yard touchdown run that clinched the game.
From that backup quarterback, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe Maryland has found another quarterback.
Well, he's a true freshman, and they love him, but he's really he's a runner. He's not like the Tuiapo, however you say his name.
Tobacco, whatever his name is, Talapo. Is he coming back next week?
Tilapia?
After the bye week?
Somebody say fish? I love tilapia.
I think he'll be back. Yeah. Like, I think Wisconsin could lose that game. So,
okay, I hope so. Whenever a West team goes east, I'm rooting for a West East victory. Except when Iowa does it. Except Iowa doesn't have to go east anymore this year.
After Northwestern plays Iowa, it looks like they got Northwestern. Yeah.
For
they got Ohio State. Northwestern has Ohio State.
Yeah. For perception's sake, I used to want the Big Ten West teams to do well against the Big Ten East teams because from a national, but it didn't matter. It never mattered. The Big Ten West could have won every game against the Big Ten East, and the national perception was still going to be, the name brand Michigan, Ohio State. It was always going to be that, and So
well, they said up till this year, they said if you took out Ohio State out of the East, it didn't include their games, the West kind of dominated the East in the past.
I think they had a winning record against the East minus Ohio State. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, same. Iowa did.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I think we've taken this as far as we can for today.
Yeah. Let's all say hello to Terry. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry. Bye, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
You guys have
all right.
Enjoy the football this weekend, and we'll catch up Monday.
Yes.
Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.